Well, the developing story that is being watched right across the world, in fact, this evening is the election of a new pontiff to lead the Roman Catholic Church. We've been watching over the last few hours the process as it began with the cardinals being led into the Sistine Chapel, where the voting will take place from this evening. It's the first ballot that will be held tonight, and then tomorrow we'll see more than one round of voting going ahead if there is no positive decision made this evening. Let's go now to Rome, bring in Trent Murray, SABC correspondent, watching the process for us. Trent, so we're quite a few hours now into the wait. Give us a sense of the feeling where you are.
Well, the anticipation is certainly building. Thousands of people down there in St. Peter's Square watching that chimney. That is how this conclave of 133 cardinals will communicate to the world whether they've made a decision yet and have elected a pope. If it is black smoke, then it means they have not reached the threshold in their voting. A two-thirds majority is needed. And so we'll be back here tomorrow where we will do it all again. If it is white smoke, then it means that they have indeed chosen a new leader. But it is not expected that we will see a successful vote in the first round. It generally will take a little bit of time for them to work out who the front runners are and then whittle down the numbers from there. But they are running a little bit behind schedule, I have to say. We were sort of being told around 7:30 South Africa time was when we were going to see the smoke. It's obviously now going closer to 8:15. Perhaps they've misplaced the matches or something, but we are eagerly awaiting to see the decision that they have made.
And as you say that, there's no overemphasis, right, at this point of just how much is riding on this moment, not just for the person who will be elected to become the Pope, but the Church as a whole.
Yeah, well, there's 1.4 billion Catholics around the world, and for many of them, this is a hugely important moment for their faith and for their spirituality. But of course, you know, Pope Francis, who the new Pope will replace, was a very big figure in world politics and was quite an outspoken critic on things like social inequality and climate change and protecting refugees and the like. So there is broader interest, of course, in this story. Certainly when you're down at St. Peter's Square there, you do see many Catholic visitors and Italians that are Catholic. They're praying and taking part in the process, but there's also many tourists and just curious onlookers who want to get a front row seat to this moment of history, and they may well get it depending if they can choose the right time to come and watch the chimney put out its smoke. Worth mentioning too, just on the smoke, we're being told they'll use special chemicals in order to make the colour abundantly clear and to avoid any sort of confusion.
And just on that point, there have been cases in the past, one or two, right, Trent, where, shall we say, there was a misinterpretation of the smoke because it would emerge as one colour and then change.
Sort of a grayscale colour, confusing the crowds. That's why I think they've turned to some chemicals to make it very, very clear. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's just such a huge moment, is it? So they want to make sure that when they do put out that white smoke, that it is very, very clear that the decision that they've made. It's a very interesting group of cardinals this time around. Last time when they met in 2013, when they elected Pope Francis, there was just 48 countries represented, but there's now 70 countries represented in there, including a number for the first time from Africa, including South Sudan, Rwanda, Central African Republic. And so it is expected that some of those regions around the world will have a bigger voice in the room, places like South America and Asia, as Europe's representation has fallen in this conclave. And that's a real legacy, I think, of Pope Francis as he tried to sort of spread the influence of the Church away from its headquarters here in Rome and out into the broader world.
And we're looking at the moment, Trent, at pictures of the people who've gathered in Vatican City. They don't know how long they'll have to wait, but they've come out nonetheless. Speak to us about the makeup of this crowd. Who is out there?
It's a very interesting group of people. You know, I mean, you have people that are taking this very seriously and they are praying and congregating together, hoping that in their view that the Holy Spirit helps these cardinals choose the right candidate. But then again, you just have many interested onlookers, international visitors. It's starting to warm up here in Europe, so you're seeing more holidaymakers coming here, and they've just chosen a very interesting time. Undoubtedly, they'll have some pretty interesting stories to tell the kids when they get back home. And then you've got the Italians, of course. I mean, they, I think, are loving this moment of being in the spotlight. We're being told there's a big national competition running here called Forma Papa, and it's effectively like a fantasy football league, but instead of choosing a football team to get your support behind, you choose a potential pontiff, sort of, maybe with some work colleagues and whatnot, a little bit of money to be won. So look, they're having a bit of fun with this as well. And of course, the Italian hosts are also making a little bit of money. The local pizzerias are doing quite well. There's also many merchants on the street selling Vatican souvenirs.
Trent, we'll leave you to go get yourself a slice of pizza or a whole one, depending on your appetite this evening. A long night ahead for you, possibly, as we wait. That's Trent Murray live for us in Rome this evening as we look at those shots overlooking Vatican City. People not being deterred by the length or the duration, the length of time, in fact, that they'll have to wait there until a decision has been made by the conclave. More and more coming out to see what colour the smoke will be as it emerges from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel. SABC News, like the rest of the world, watching to see that as well, and we'll bring you all the latest as and when it happens. Stay with us.